let's train with me. So when I am warming up, because today is upper body days, AKA bench day, the only part though is that when I'm benching, in the early part of my macro cycle is a number of blocks of training. Like you can think of a macro cycle as 3 months compared to a mesocycle, 1 month compared to a microcycle, like 1 week of training. So when it comes to a macro cycle, a new one, we are looking at hypertrophy and conditioning. So specifically for this block, I am doing dumbbell bench. Especially that's going to be helpful for me because I tend to have a tricep weakness from my spinal cord injury. And so what I'm doing here is trying to build up unilateral strength, meaning that when I do dumbbell bench press, it's a whole lot harder for me specifically in order for me to press out because my left side is so weak, which you'll see because again, I'm doing, I think my workout consists of 100-pound dumbbell press for about 4 sets of 10. We'll see if we can squeak in another 5th set because when it comes to the beginning of these macro cycles, we want to start building up volume, especially if it's a hypertrophy block. And so with this one, I'm like at 208, 209. Again, I am kind of fluctuating. I definitely had a lot of Korean barbecue over the weekend because I went golfing, and me and my friends, we tend to have tradition of going to golf and then going to eat like crazy until we get kicked out of Korean barbecue. And so yes, you can totally get kicked out of Korean barbecue. Happened to us twice already. But with that being said, you can see my wonderful tan line. So yeah, usually I don't really go out in the sun too much because I'm a gym rat. So let's talk about my warm-up. I'll go with you in detail because maybe this will help you out. I like not taking so much time in warm-up because I've been that guy in the beginning of my training career. I've been training for 2 decades already, where the point is I would train for an hour or warm up for an hour and a half on the foam roller and then start my workout, right? That was a little excessive, but again, I was still learning in the beginning and I was trying to do everything possible, especially back in 2005, 2006, the foam roller was like super, it was like kind of obscure, and then Eric Cressey kind of made it super popular with foam rolling, and then all of a sudden everyone's foam rolling. And so with my warm up, it takes me about 5-10 minutes. Right now I'm probably taking longer because I'm talking through it, but I like to use what we call in physical therapy D1, D2 movements. What I mean by that is if I have my thumb up, I have my doctorate, if I have my thumb up, then I point it downwards. And so if I'm going into this motion here, I'm using D1 movement where I'm going into internal rotation, adduction, horizontal adduction, and extension. So all of that, and then opposite, going into external rotation, going into flexion, going to abduction, all of that is one big movement. And the cool thing with that is I'm getting all movements just with this one single one. Only thing I'm not getting is circumduction, which we will add. So you're gonna do the opposite, thumb down, thumb up. It's a cool dance move that I like to use, not in the club, but at the bar, if you see what I did there. When we are warming up, we'll do the other way. Again, this is continuing to get D1, D2 movements because we're doing both sides at the same time. Because this is for my left arm, we're doing D2. For my right arm, we're doing D1. And again, I'm doing it all at the same time. You can do it individual, but again, I'm trying to save time. Then after that, I'll go into small circumduction movements and slow, and then eventually build up into faster movements for anyone that's wondering. And after that, I'll probably, if I am benching, I know I have to basically create more power. So I'll do a couple of clapping push-ups in order for me to emphasize that explosion, which you should be doing through your bench press, exploding through the range of motion. The reason Why that's important is because it'll get rid of some sticking points along with you being able to recruit more motor units, meaning that you'll be able to bench more weight because you're trying to have that intent to explode. Now, I also warm up upper body with jump rope. Depending on how I'm feeling, I can go ahead and do jumpless jump rope, where I'm not even jumping, but I'm going through the motion just for my upper back and arms to get warmed up. I am kind of jump roping here in a tighter space, giggity, and what that will do is that forces me to get a little bit more accurate when it comes to my swings. This side on my right side is hitting, but whatever. Now you're like, you're a power lifter, Al. Why do you like cardio so much? I don't like cardio, but I do like jump rope because I used to be a long distance runner, believe it or not, back when I was 100 pounds. But the only difference now is that, yeah, I'm 100 pounds heavier. Cardio is going to be a whole lot harder for me because I can't run miles and miles like I did before. Before I would be able to run like, I don't know, 15 miles on a whim, just not even training for anything. It's definitely easier when you're a whole lot lighter. Now, if I take a couple of steps in running, I feel like my joints are freaking heavy as hell and they have a lot of impact. But why am I jump roping when I hate cardio? Well, that all comes down to my spinal cord injury. In the beginning, when I thought my injury was I don't know if I can talk and jump rope at the same time, but let's try it out. When I thought my injury was, or what I was going through was multiple sclerosis, I was going through the Kubler-Ross stages of grieving where I thought like, hey, like I got angry, I was in denial, and the bargaining part of my stages of grieving was that if I just get better, I promise I'll never skip cardio. And funny thing is, I did get better, and so I made a promise to myself never to skip cardio. And so here we are. Here you are watching me do stupid jump rope tricks like the Mick release right there. That's my favorite. There's different ones to Mick release with the 180 into a backwards, right? And then you can also do other stupid things where you release the rope. If I have room here, I can do a Mamba release. Still working on that. But, and then you've seen the behind the back Mick release. That's not too bad, right? Only bad side is you whip that ass. I feel pretty warmed up. I'll probably do some more push-ups just to get that explosion. Then I'll warm up with like 40s, 60s, 80s, 100. The reason why you want to do a clapping push-up, you don't literally have to clap, but the intent is to get high and push through, because there's no clapping push-ups almost like a jump. It's really going to be hard for you to jump high going slow. So it forces you to explode. It forces you to jump and be as fast as you can, because that's going to help recruit those motor units. So let's go ahead and go into the bench. You can see here we have all the dumbbells. It goes up to 100, so I'll be using these on the floor here. You can see, I think I breezed over last time when I went through Anthony's gym, or my gym, my gym that I go to that Anthony owns, right? Anthony, if you're an OG YouTuber, he is Simon from Aesthetics. So here's leg press, right? Supported row, chest supported, treadmill. Don't use that one because we got jump ropes, you know what I'm saying? And then we have the Rogue bench or combo. I like this one because of how fat the support is for the bench. And then we have the Eleiko. We have 3 of them here. These are nice, they're standard, but to be honest, the bench is a little thin and hard, but that's just the story of my life, if you know what I mean, thin and hard. And then here, of course, we got the kilos. Sometimes I don't like mathing, especially when I'm tired. We got the Olympic weight plates, deadlift platform here, deadlift platforms over here. So he has 4 altogether, but if we did need to deadlift, we would move this ghost one out of the way. You can see here we have all the specialty bars, SSB, football, going into all the other power bars here. Even has a Nike one. I kind of like the Nike one, to be honest. I don't know, the knurling is not so crazy aggressive, but it's not aggressive. And then you have your standard ones here as well. We got deadlift bars from Kabuki, Texas, and Cerakote. So if the Cerakotes feel like Nike, that would be better, because they just feel horrible. Not a fan of Cerakotes. Then we have cables here. I'm just trying to catch my breath because I know you're probably going to be listening to this all kind of listening to me breathing hard. So here's the leg quad extensions, or knee extensions, knee, hamstring. I like this cage. I used to not be a cage lifter, right? A squat rack one. I would just do it, free ball it without the safeties, until one day I passed out in the bench. And that made me realize how fast you can pass out without realizing that you need to rack it. It just kind of came out of nowhere. I will post that on my Instagram for you guys to laugh at me, because I passed out, and it was like, what was that, 1 week before I was benching, 1 week before I was competing. So they were my openers. I don't know why I passed out. I think I didn't have breakfast and was kind of amped out on caffeine. Here's the glute ham raise. So that's basically, we'll do a pan. So the cool thing with Anthony's gym is that he keeps on upgrading. I think I told you in my last video of you squatting with me, if you watched that whole hour, which I don't blame you if you didn't, but with that video, I was saying his love language is gift giving. And the reason why that's relevant is because he has a good attention to detail. I feel like if he started a YouTube video or YouTube channel with him just kind of reviewing over equipment, I think he would do well with it. He would be like, you know, garage gym reviews or Brandon Campbell. So let's get into it. So that was me kind of stalling because I was out of breath. And here are the 40s. Hopefully I don't crush the microphone that I have. I was going to wear a baseball cap and place the microphone right on top, because I know that's how all the cool people do it. But I am not as cool as most people. So here I'm emphasizing the stretch, because that is one of the upsides of having dumbbell work, is you can get more of that chest to get stretched out. And usually a stretched muscle is a recruited muscle. So I like dumbbell work for hypertrophy, because you don't need to have crazy amount of weight in order to get the stimulus. And that's pretty important when it comes to rehab work as well, or even just off season. You don't have to fry up your nervous system just trying to lift heavy ass weight to get the benefits of lifting. You'll be able to, same thing for rehab, pick exercises that are going to stimulate and not annihilate, right? And so that was the first warm-up set of 40. I wonder if you watching me will feel like you're a cuck. You watching me will help speed up my warm-ups because, again, how entertaining would it be if I just sat here and just breathed hard for a good 5-6 minutes? But let's go ahead and get into these 60s. Right now, you can't see a deficit in strength in my left arm, but once we hit the hundreds for the last couple reps, you'll start to see me on the struggle bus. And the problem with doing these voiceovers is that usually I'll do, or voiceovers, or mic'd up sessions, is that typically I'll do a set, I'll record it, post it on Instagram or whatever, on the story, and then respond to my clients. So I'm not gonna respond to my clients for this workout because then you won't really see me do anything. So, but this is a time I try to get productive because, again, I have 3 jobs. I am the director or kind of the manager at my clinic. That's my full-time job. Then I do cash pay physical therapy. So if you're injured, San Diego area, SoCal area, hit me up. I do cash pay physical therapy. I tend to cater more toward the strength population. I see it all, but you know, my specialty and my passion, my love is for strength athletes, people that are flying close to the sun and burning those feathers. So I'm pretty good at repairing feathers. And so my 3rd job is strength and conditioning coach, as you know. So that's why I tend to try to maximize my time with me resting and answering any questions that I might have, depending on, you know, a lot of my clients, they have different time zones. So for me right now, I think I have Italy guy hitting me up. I think they're 8 hours ahead. So I try to answer in the morning because he's probably working out right now, because over there it's probably around 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. So in the evening. 60s, let's go 80s. Let's hit you with some different angles so you don't not watch, right? And you skip to the next video. But here is 80s from this angle here. And one of my biggest fears in dumbbell benching is that when I put my weights down, there's like a dumbbell next to me. My friend slammed his finger that way before. I don't want to do the same thing, so I always make sure everything's clear around me. You know, being in this gym, I'm spoiled with all great equipment. I'm surprised Anthony hasn't bought those dumbbell stands where you can just lay down and press it out of the stands and be able to do all your stuff. Because the hardest part about dumbbell benching is getting set up. Here, I want it high, so I kind of scrunch down so it's nice and tall, like near my neck, right? And then I'll go ahead and lie down, which is funny because when I lie down, because I'm curved, I almost give myself a cavitation. Fancy words for popping, cracking. I crack my own back getting laying down and getting ready for the bench. So here we go. No cracks there, but we're still warming up. So the cool thing about having mic'd up, last time if you saw my squat session, I didn't charge my mic, and when I didn't charge my mic, I couldn't play beautiful R&B in the background. I think right now it's my R&B playlist, and started off with Twisted. I just got Usher right now with Boom. So hopefully I don't get copyrighted with it. If you could hear the Usher in the background, hopefully my endless rambling will stop all the copyright detection. So I'm just about ready to get into my top or my work set for my bench. I think the angle I want to go, I'll go from the entrance. That is me. All right, right here for optimum lighting, because I'll go a little on the higher side because I have to remember, if I am talking to the camera, you gotta see this. This is what brings in the viewers, says the guy that has probably, I don't know, 10 views on this video as we are watching. But what was I saying? I got distracted by my own beauty. Let's do this. Let's just farmer walk this motherfucker. All right. Now, the crazy thing about recording all your workouts is that if you happen to drop it on your face as you're benching, that might go viral. You might be able to sell the video because I don't know if you OG subscribers are here watching. If you ever remember the video of me falling on my ass trying to do the behind the back clap pull up, I think I sold that video for close to $350, $400. I basically bought a PS4 with it. PS4. Whew. So, still trying to stall because I'm trying to catch my breath. Now, I wish I can give you pearls of wisdom as I take a breath, but I'm trying to get my breath. I don't know why I'm so out of breath. I feel like my warm-ups are a little bit more intense with jump roping, but today, talking as I press, I mean, there's actually tests on that, right? Where you hit the fat burning zone where you are being able to talk and talk normally, because the moment you start to exhale and have trouble breathing as you talk is because you're not letting yourself expel that CO2, and that means that you're building up too much CO2 and getting into more of the anaerobic issue there. I think it's been a while. Correct me if I am wrong there. It's been a while since I had physiology. I should know that actually, because then that you're gonna talk about the different types of scales. Anyways, yeah, buddy. I tried to minimize the grunting for any of you guys watching this late at night while your wife is in another room, because it's gonna look like you're watching inappropriate things with all the grunting and oh yeah that's going on. So apologize. All right, so first set, of 10. Now, it's already 24 minutes into this warm up and workout. Let's go give ourselves some room for some jump rope, because I want to continue to refine my skills in my favorite moves are MIC releases, where you release them, because I think it's like what my friend said, I'm looking like a jacked Filipino Indiana Jones with my whip. I'll take it. I'll totally take it. All right, that should be enough room if I wanted to do some Mamba releases. Boom. So there's two types of MIC release for people that are trying to get into jump rope. Of course, that's all 0 of you guys, but maybe this might inspire you, because I am an inspiration. And so there's one, that one is the wrist pop, where you actually have the handle on the wrist and you basically pop it up that way. Then there's the tissue method, where you pull it out. Where it's actually, I don't know if I did the tissue. Tissue is almost like a palm down going out, because it's tissue box method. You're taking out tissue. Then there's I think the throwing method, where I use that for the Mamba. Dangerous. Dangerous, especially if you have the beaded, this is where I say giggity, right? The beaded jump rope. It is beaded for your pleasure in being able to feel the jump rope, because it gives you more feedback compared to a speed rope, which is just the vinyl one that boxers will use. I like using that one when I want to go on the faster side, but this one helps me get more accurate, because then I can see how it feels. My jump rope is a little on the shorter side compared to most beginners, is because you can see here that I'll have more control over it. It's shorter, so then I can control where it goes a little bit more, compared to a longer jump rope. At least I see, if you go on Instagram with all the jump rope influencers, a good amount of them will have a shorter jump rope in order for them to have better control. So in the beginning, you may not want to go this short, because you will hit your head a lot of times, which I'll probably do here. And so in the beginning, actually, there are some clients that I have that will want to jump rope. Shout out to Alex and Calvin. They are my OG clients, been with me for, I don't know, probably like 5, 6, 7 years or so. Being able to jump rope, you want to make sure you just do one jump. You don't want to do the whole Cinderella dress yellow, went upstairs to kiss a fellow, made a mistake and kissed a snake. How many doctors did it take? Hazards. All right, so that's a good amount of blabbing out. Again, this is my conditioning macro cycle, mesocycle, where I am trying to get a little more cut, because if you didn't notice, I'm extremely huge, not just here in the belly, but I am coming down from a 220 weight class, because I competed at 220 but I felt a little tubbier. The older I get, I am 38 by the way, the more I notice, yes, what your dad and uncle all say is true. It's a little harder losing weight and getting fit when you're older, because I know before, if I just eat normally, I can lose weight like crazy because my body wants to reset at 100 pounds. Now I've noticed, oh, here's flashing of the abs, right? or the keg. Definitely harder because, again, that was my fault for bulking up. I was eating 6,000, 7,000 calories when I was bulking up to 220. The problem was that I didn't do that in the beginning where I was about maybe 8 months out. I was trying to bulk up maybe about 3, 4 months out. And the reason why that's relevant is because the way that you program leading up to a competition, you want to be specific. And so I couldn't do a lot of hypertrophy movements because, again, I didn't have time, especially when I'm warming up to, a 550 squat is going to take a good amount of time, where that time typically would be for hypertrophy work or any of my accessories, but it would take up so much. Plus, you want to be specific with your exercises, meaning that there's the SAID principle, right? The specificity of adaptation to impose demands, right? And so that's fancy words for if I want to get good at squatting, benching, and deadlifting, especially if I'm competing, then I should be squatting, benching, and deadlifting because I am competing. And so, especially like three months out or 3 mesocycles out, those are my thoughts. Again, depends on the person and the coach, how they program. Typically, if you are more a little bit on the advanced side, I would have more time to be more honed into the specific lifts. When it comes to beginners, so the cool thing is that you want to kind of group the way you program for beginners versus advanced, right? So beginners, those tend to be where they're a little on the weaker side, right? Absolute weakness, female, lighter lifters, training age is low, and then their age to begin with is going to be higher too. So training age versus real age, those tend to be people that you can kind of not burn out with a lot of the 1 rep maxes or heavy 90% work, right? Where you're doing like triples. Because if I were to do a heavy ass triple RPE 10, that takes me a little bit longer to recover compared to, a beginner where they're not, doesn't tax them out as much. For example, if I ask a beginner to max out their deadlift, they probably can just wait 5 minutes and then do it again. If you ask an advanced lifter who's like deadlifting 600, 700 plus to max out, they'll probably be burnt out for a good amount of time. If they were trying to do it again, it may not happen, especially, especially if they're pretty damn strong and max, if it's a true 1 rep max compared to a true 1 rep max with the beginners, because their strength deficit, that's what they call that in the strength and conditioning world, they're basically what they're at now versus their genetic potential, what they could be, there's a bigger gap, and that's that strength deficit. So people that have a bigger strength deficit, that's where I classify them as beginners. But that might not be the same as Mark Rippetoe, where beginners are people that are making progress pretty damn quickly, regardless of how much weight they are pushing according to starting strength. Anyways, let's get it. Yeah, buddy. I got 3. Oh wait, this is not 3LW. This is yesterday. What song is this? Oh, Tatiana Ali, aka Ashley from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. One hit wonder, I believe. Still a banger. All right, I believe that was set 2 if I didn't lose my count, because the hard part is recording this all the way through. I usually record my session or my set, and then I'll review it, making sure that everything looks good. I don't have that feedback today, but you can let me know in the comments how shitty my form was. While I'm resting, it's a perfect time to admire my farmer's tan. My farmer's tan is pretty farmer-ish, if you see. But again, my conditioning, I do want to jump some nice boxing type jump rope. So boxing type jump rope, they do a lot of boxer step, right? So boxer step is basically the most efficient way to jump, in my opinion, because it doesn't tire you out. You're essentially doing these hops, but at the same time, you're hopping, switching feet, but still contacting the floor. So what I mean by that, it's almost like this, but every time you do jump, you still have that foot on the floor, if that makes sense. So that's boxing jump, and so typically, right, they'll jump like that. They do a lot of crosses, right? So swing overs, and then, so they'll do, so that's typical. And then there's a boxing step where they do a swing over to cross, and all they're doing is basically doing boxing step, but taking bigger jumps in order for you to have a count between. So let's see if I can. Yeah, so it's cross, boom, boom. It's hard to talk at the same time. So cross. So it's boom. Oh, there you go. So I was doing too much. Still need one more set for hitting the third. This is me tired. So I don't know if mic sessions are still the jam, but I can see why people would want to edit these parts out, because it sounds like I am gasping for air, which I am. I am gasping for air, and I don't know how entertaining gasping for air is. So usually they would edit it out. I don't have the luxury and time to edit, so that's why when you saw my squat video, that was a full hour of me shooting the shit during the squat. Here, again, I can't edit, so whatever you see, I'm doing. I used to edit a lot, And that was during my undergrad. I would not pay attention in class, especially if they were teaching. My major was kinesiology with emphasis in fitness specialists. And the thing is, I already knew a good amount of stuff that they were teaching. So it was nice because when I would edit videos in class, I wasn't missing much because I already knew it. Not because I'm wicked smart, is because when I had my PTA job, basically every day for a good, actually, I shouldn't lie, because 12 years, there was a certain point where I moved into another clinic that didn't just let me do modalities. So modalities is putting hot packs and electricity on people. I did that every day for, I don't know, 40, 50 patients every day for 6 years. And during those 6 years, my boss would let me, on my free time, which I did have a lot of free time because you're basically waiting for them to be done with the 20 minutes of hot packs, because everyone got them. I would read everything I can about strength and conditioning. And so I was pretty much ahead of the game because I would read everything I got my hands on, books, especially T Nation. If you guys are old like me, you'll know T Nation magazine, and I was pretty good at, I think up until like 2010, I read every article that came out from the archive all the way to 2010. And that's where, the glute guy, everyone knows the glute guy, Brett Contreras. I feel like he got his start from there, writing about all that stuff, so about glutes. And so that's where I knew him in the beginning. So it's kind of like, what do the people say these days where, I was cool before it was cool, right? Period. So, yeah. All right, set 3. For all the millennials out there, period means word. I have a student right now. He is Gen Z, and yeah, definitely, he's a cool student. Definitely cooler than me, and teaches me all the cool slang that these kids are now saying these days. Like, man, this set is gonna be feral. Feral sounds to me like a ferret, and so I feel like it makes ferrets in a bad name, but apparently feral is going to be really janky, really messed up, really atrocious, egregious if you are taking the GRE. All right, set 3, baby. As we listen to Caramel, what is this, high? All right, I think they are all, City High Caramel. I think they might have had one song, but one hit wonder. I should start playing all the old school Asian love songs, like Baby Girl, but not like Baby Girl, no. This is Baby Girl, Inner Voices, I think Inner Voices. But usually that's the era of bangs and dyed frosted tips, split down the hair. I had that hairstyle in high school. And the wife she still picked me, even though I wore button-up shirts with a white beater underneath, unbuttoned it. I lost count, but didn't matter because you can see my left side give away. Again, that is my spinal cord injury from the herniated disc at C5, C6, along with me making up excuses in order to help my ego. But I've been rehabbing it since 2021, and luckily it's not as bad as it was before, because my left arm would be a whole 1 inch smaller than my right. And then even up till now, I still get fasciculations, meaning that it twitches, right? Fancy words for twitching, compared to my right. See, nice and steady in the tricep. This one still fasciculates, which there's some nerve injury there, probably beyond, for all you physical therapy students and PTs out there, it's beyond neuroproxia. Neuroproxia is like nerve damage that's recoverable. And then there's axonemesis and neuronemesis. Again, fancy words, I can't even say it right now. But doesn't matter. Just know there's no excuse to not keep going, because when I rehab it, even now, when I do tricep work, I started off with 3 times the amount of tricep and arm work for my left side, and then trying to catch up, because I can skull crush like 25, 30 pounds on my right side, but only 10 for my left side in the beginning. Now it's a whole lot better. It just dies a whole lot quicker, but it's still able to press relatively well. I did also tell myself to make up for my weakness on my left side with more pec work. So I believe my left pec might be a little bigger on my left side, because that's me trying to make up in the bench press with pushing more and flaring out my elbow a little bit more on my left side in order to compensate for my weak ass tricep. Because you can see here I have a nice little horseshoe. Let me see if I can, boom, subscribe, like, and comment. Compared to this side, you can see here the short head is a little lacking, right? Because here's the long head back here, right? Then the long head and the short head, which sucks because the short head I feel like is good locking out power. So if you see me in the bench press, it's hard for me to lock out because the radial nerve palsy going to my tricep there. So you do what you do. I mean, for me, I forgot to do my radial nerve flosses. I usually do them for upper body day, but I got distracted by you beautiful people. So for me, when I have nerve injuries, or even when I see any people that have any nerve injuries, I look at nerve, I look at tissues or structure, and then I look at muscle. So any great physical therapist will treat all of those as needed, right? So for me, it's a big nerve issue. I want to clear out the issue, because the nerves is where that's your basically communication when it comes to your software, right? Software to the hardware, giggity. And so if you're messing up the cables, like the nerves that transmit that software information, you're messing up your strength. So you can do all the strength you want, but if that communication is not there, then it's going to be messed up. So what we do is nerve flosses specifically for the radial nerve. And so for here, I'm pulling the nerve up and I'm pulling the nerve down, especially with this right here. Radial nerve floss I always tell my patients, avoid hitting yourself and then get that money, right? Avoid hitting yourself, get that money. Like someone's trying to tip you, but you're trying to be discreet about it, right? Boom. And so the reason why we're doing the neck movement with the arm movement is because a nerve issue can be like a garden hose. What I mean by that is somewhere along the line, probably for me, is where my herniated disc was pushing into my spinal cord. It's causing a kink in that garden hose. And so if you have that kink in that garden hose, you're not gonna get the water flow, AKA action potentials going down that nerve. And so what you wanna do is get that garden hose, pull it on one side, slack the other, pull it on the other, slack that other. So it's that back and forth. So whatever's standing on it, whether it's the tire that you're trying to wash your car with, the tire that's on the car, it's stuck on there, or someone's standing on your garden hose, you can knock it off. Compared to if we were to stretch at both sides. So if I were to stretch at both sides like this and this compared to this and then this, then essentially you're pulling the garden hose while someone's still standing on it. Not very effective, because the nerves can travel up to 8 to 11 centimeters through the body. So you don't think of nerves as being dynamic, but they are. There's a whole field in physical therapy of neurodynamics. But I think I'm rested for the next set. This time I'm gonna count and not get distracted with whatever I was saying. Probably talking about what R&B music is on right now, like LL Cool J right now. I see I need love. There I was giggling about the names. LL Cool J, fun fact, LL means ladies love. But if you're born past the 2000s, you're gonna be like, who the hell is LL Cool J? Well, there was a time in life where people would only roll up one pant leg because LL Cool J did it. So, anyways, yeah, buddy. That was only 9. Fuck. It's all good. That just means I can make up for it. Still have to do one more set. Probably not get 10. Probably not even get 9. But the intent is to continue keep increasing volume. And so it is, what time is it? 8:25. Gee, 8:25. I have work at 9. So, all right. This is where I walk around uselessly and for nothing. I do want to do back work. I might do a superset with the croc rows. I'm supposed to do croc rows. Now, if you aren't familiar with croc rows because you're a youngin', croc rows was named after Matt Krugzowski, and homeboy was freaking a beast. He would be, I'm trying to think of what all the cool people are watching. He would be like, you know how Jamal deadlifts like 1,000 pounds? Well, Matt to me was like Jamal back in the day, where homeboy was super strong. He still is, I bet, but now he is Janae. Janae, which, cool. I don't hate. Just be you, whatever you think it is, right? Just as long as you're a good person and you're not shitty to other people, I say that's the important thing. So you do you. And so, oh yeah, homeboy was strong. And that's, oh yeah, he would do, so the video, the reason why people named it after him was because he would do body English with it. But I mean, he was rowing 250, right? So it's like a unilateral bent over row with a little body English. And so croc rows, I like them because people don't realize in order for you to rotate, you're getting a good amount of rotation. So you're training the core, the back muscle specifically, in order for you to get that rotation. So it's a 2-in-1 in my opinion. You're getting some nice bicep and rhomboid and shoulder work at the same time with some rotation work, because I hate doing core work. I'm better at it now because I've taken the time to do it. I'm doing ab wheels where I can do them on my knees easily, but when it comes to the toes, I need a little assistance at the bottom because I'm not able to completely go all the way flat like Dan Green. Dan Green's a beast. So what I'll do is I'll have a little rubber band around my waist, set it to maybe this high so it doesn't give me a lot, only just a little bit at the bottom, and I'm able to rep out like 10 or so when it comes to that. So that is my weakness. I do find myself being pretty weak when it comes to core work because, again, I'm old school. I typically didn't train it because I thought squat, bench, deadlift would be all that you need. But if it's so demanding on the core, then that would imply that you should be training it because it's demanding on the core. Why not? Don't let it be a bottleneck. Be better than me. I always tell my clients I want them to be stronger than me because then I know if they are, I'm not a shitty lifter. It just means I'm a good ass fucking coach. But if they're not stronger than me, it's not that I'm a bad coach, it's just I'm a strong ass lifter, right? That's my little cognitive bias when it comes to all that. Anyways, croc rows, baby. So here I'm emphasizing the protraction of the shoulder blades in order for me to get stretch in my rhomboids. I like the feeling. I feel like I get more work. I get more strength when it comes to that. I activate the rhomboids because, again, when it comes to programming, I don't have a lot of accessory movements. So I want to be able to maximize the movements in certain tiers, meaning that when it comes to your squat, bench, deadlift, this is like, you can think of it as GZCL kind of thinking and programming, where you have your tiers. Your top tier is going to be your squat, bench, deadlift. Second tier is going to be the things that help your tier 1, which is your variation squat, bench, deadlift. And then tier 3 is going to be potential compound movements or even isolation work that help out the tier 2. And then you have your tier 4 conditioning and all your core work. So when it comes to program today, tier 1, dumbbell bench, tier 2, croc rows, other movements, potentially I'll do some overhead pressing during work while I'm treating patients. The cool thing with that is that, you know, patients don't usually say like, hey, what are you doing? Why are you lifting weights? It's because I always tell them I practice what I preach. Yeah, they're not the only ones that are injured. I just don't ruminate in it as much, right? Or catastrophize. So those are the major things that people like to do that tend to slow down recovery, is because they can absolutely hypersensitize the area that they're having pain with and increase their pain. And so when they're increasing their pain, then they're not going to want to move. They're not going to feel, they're going to be depressed. They're not going to be able to sleep, and all that kind of snowballs effect. And it's a vicious cycle. So that's where I say, like, hey, it's going to hurt. It's going to suck. But we are doing the steps in the right place where you want to hurt now and feel good later, rather than vice versa. Feel good now and rest, and then eventually have it affect the rest of your life. Yeah, buddy. How's the lighting? Can you see my striations? So I hit you with the did that pose because I can't think of anything else to say. So I have my dumbbell bench, one last set, which is funny because the song right now, if you hear it, it's One Last Cry, Brian McKnight, baby. That's what I'm talking about. OG. I guess I'm down to my last set. All right. All right. I don't know what you guys think about when you're about to do a set, but I'll be honest. Sometimes when I'm tired like this, I'm like, you know what? Picking up a musical instrument would have been a whole lot easier, physically at least. I played the piano for 10 years. Definitely takes a lot of time. Takes a lot of time, especially if you did practice. I didn't practice, but it still took up time. I actually gave up piano because I couldn't feel my thumbs from hook grip. So I quit, and that's the thing, is that I wasn't even a proficient hook gripper. I was just like a lot of the pieces that I was learning, because I was learning the Suzuki method, so a lot of classical music required a lot of stretching and rapid finger movements. That's where I say giddy. But I think I'd be sore from all the heavy deadlifts. So, and then all the calluses didn't help either. So yeah, I just kind of quit, because what I really wanted to learn the piano was like -1 music, or accompaniment, or jazz, or pop music, things where I can hear the music and play it rather than sight read. So unfortunately, my teacher was all about sight reading rather than learning the music theory. And if you know me, I'm a big fan of I like to know why it works and the theory behind it. So then once you learn the theory, you can just start jamming out. But maybe I'm just not talented. So, funny thing is, I'm a hypocrite right here, because I typically tell my clients, if you go for a rep, don't fail it, because it teaches your body to fail reps. The good thing here though is that there's a hypertrophy block, so these movements aren't going to be solidified as me failing. It just means that I repped out and reached my max reps for hypertrophy. At least that's the justification I'm telling it right now, because this is a total volume PR, because typically in the beginning of this cycle I was doing 3 sets of 8 with 100. Now 4 sets of 10-ish, which again I missed the last 3 reps. Typically I'll tell my clients to make up those last 3 reps. I'll probably do that in one more set if I'm not late for work. But perfect time to finish out with some croc rows, because I am kind of digging the pump that I'm getting right now. Let's see if I'm in view. All right. This is where I would want to have heavier dumbbells. I mean, I feel like I can croc row a lot more. So they're not so crockish with the cheat rows. You can see I'm even kind of pausing a little at the top. It's because 100s are relatively on the easier side. But fortunately, 100 is the heaviest dumbbell we have here. 12 reps. That's the cool thing, is that we know that strength is inversely correlated, meaning that we have intensity, volume, and frequency. And if you aren't able to go as heavy due to injury or due to not having heavier dumbbells, then that just means we need volume. So you can increase it with sets of 12 to 15 again, because we need to hit more volume, hit more frequency. The thing is, you see me do croc rows here, but I also be doing, that's my training brain. All the blood is right here and not to the brain. And so I'll be doing croc rows actually at my job as well. So here, you know, I'll bust out like 3 sets. But cool thing is, I'm able to do croc rows because we have a 100-pound kettlebell. I'll be able to do it at work as well, in between patients, patient care, or if I'm caught up with paperwork, because yes, physical therapists always behind on paperwork, at least for me. I like to think it's because I'm busy talking to the patients and seeing how they're doing. But sometimes, even if I don't have patients, I do find myself wanting to do accessories rather than paperwork. Croc rows are also great for grip. Right now I'm not needing the wrist wraps, not wrist wraps, the straps, in order for me, or VersaGrips, in order for me to hold on. I'm able to hold on, so I like to train grip as much as I can before I start adding the VersaGrip or adding straps, because we don't want it to be a limiting factor. Even though you can pull hook, you still want to have that training effect of being strong. I mean, another upside of having a strong grip, not only will you not miss deadlifts, but it feels a whole lot easier when you are stronger, because your body is sensing that your wrists aren't a limiting factor. Another benefit for all my nerds out there is that there's a high correlation with longevity of life and grip strength. If you have a stronger grip, you're gonna live longer. Now, the authors don't really know why that correlation exists, but they hypothesize that it could be that if you're stronger in grip, you're gonna be stronger overall, right? You got that farmer boy strength. And if you're stronger overall, then you're going to have more strength in your legs and in your limbs. And that's gonna help you either walk more, be able to do your activities of daily living without falling. Like even there's a big correlation to hip weakness and dying because if you break a hip, or you break your hip, you fall and you break your hip, typically the mortality rate is once you fall and break your hip, or then most likely you're gonna die. For the elderly, you're gonna die within a year. That could be based off of a number of things. Maybe they don't have the strength to get up, and if you're bedridden all day, then you're not gonna be able to get good blood flow, get the circulation, exercise, and be able to do the things that you need. On top of that is depressing AF. And so when you're depressed, then just things are just more likely to happen, whether it's getting more sick because your immune system's lower. So what I recommend is what I'm gonna try to do and never stop lifting. Even if it's the bar, I'll be squatting until I'm 90. Maybe just the bar, maybe not even a bar, maybe even the curl bar, but I'll be squatting. Maybe not to death, but I'll still be squatting. We'll see. That's the promise I made to myself. As long as I can continue keep doing it. Only downside I think I have an issue with is that due to my years of lack of sleep, I feel like I am at an increased risk of Alzheimer's. So now I'm trying to at least get 8 hours of sleep. But if you have read the book Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker, it tells you that sometimes lack of sleep, you can't really make up for some of that. So the plaques and tangles, I think are the layman's term for beta amylase or something like. Beta is like the little plaque in your brain that get washed away when you go to sleep. But if you don't go to sleep, then basically you're building up all that byproduct in your brain, and the synapses aren't as synapy, if you know what I mean. Oh, quality is kind of going down there. It's 8:46. I'm probably late for work, but it's okay. My student got it. No, he'll start up our patients. That's just me being a CI. If you're ever my student, prepared to have the douchiest clinical instructor. I don't know why I put the camera this way. I gotta do my right side, unless you wanna see my pomposos. Here, we'll do this. You can check out this sick angle. All right, we'll call it a day. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. I'm sure I over-explained everything. If you've reached this way, this far out, I appreciate you. This is a whole hour of me just rambling on and not even anything entertaining, but you're here, so I do appreciate you. Other than that, I will say, train hard, train smart.